Superman stuff.
Um,
Hello and welcome to Chapter 275 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fairly well. Happy Friday 13th for all of you Jason Voorhees fans who are watching. Happy No King's Day for all you guys who are listening. Next day, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, just gotta say that out there. But also, happy early possible Superman screening. I mean, we're gonna talk about that later on. I got my tickets. Just saying, I got a ticket. I know it's just kind of U.S. only, and I apologize, Travis. I'm sorry.
Thought you were asking if I have my ticket. I was like, "What the hell, dude? You
No,
already
I'm
know that I don't have
sorry.
mine."
I'm
No, I
sorry,
think I'll take
buddy.
the non-civil chaos over being able to have Fandango access right now. Just
Sure, sure,
saying,
sure, sure.
you know,
Honestly, like I mean, when I checked it
weighing the
out, because
scale.
I didn't think it was going to be a showing here in my city, because I know there was one for the Batman,
Yeah,
and I did get to see an early screening of that, and I was kind of happy. And I remember seeing that and the theater being packed. Like I think it actually was a sold out theater.
yeah.
This one, there are a ton of seats sold. It's not completely sold out, but I also haven't checked since it went live, and it could have sold out since then. Like it was, I think when I bought my ticket, it was maybe a half hour after they had gone live to sell, and it was like over halfway sold. So it could have
Same
easily
thing with
sold out.
mine, Joe. Like in my theater, which doesn't happen very often. Like I got my ticket early, and it was a lot of seats already sold at that point,
Yeah,
and I'm like, this
I
doesn't
still,
usually happen for us.
yeah,
Last one was No Way Home.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still need to
So
get my Thursday showing because I still want to see it
yeah,
again on Thursday before we
I'm
review
gonna
it for
try and get a
Friday.
Friday, and I'm gonna take Friday off and try to get a Friday in because I don't have to take. I was hoping, but they took this away from comic book films. In this theater that we have here, is that they don't do a 3 o'clock showing anymore on Thursdays.
Oh, boo.
And I think it's because you can think a little bit, think the DC films of 2023, because I watched all those at that time. Basically, I think only one of those four that I watched with anybody else in the theater. So I can understand removing that time
Yeah,
and letting the 7 to 10 people who got 9 to 5 jobs and can't take any time off to watch those films. So
yeah.
like I understand it, but it sucks because I used to see it a little bit early, and you'd avoid spoilers. And that's the best thing about going to that Fandango event. You can avoid like getting spoiled at anything that accidentally pops up on YouTube or
Yep,
anything like that, Joe.
yep. But no, other than that, I'm doing good. I start my vacation today.
Nice.
We're going to Disney World next week, and yeah, my daughter's graduation. It's just celebrate all that, and also for all you fathers out there, happy early Father's Day. That comes this Sunday.
Right
Travis,
back at you.
happy, yeah,
Right
I'll say
back at
happy
you, my
Father's
dude.
Day to you, buddy. Yeah, just very tiring. It's been a very tiring week, my dude.
I feel you. I feel you.
How you been?
I've been okay. We lost the house that we've been on. I was telling you beforehand, which was a
Hmm.
little bummy. We're hoping we got to move out of here at some point soon in the next few months. So keep bidding on the houses, but at least we're approved. And there's 20 bids were on this house. 20. And yeah, we even went 51K over the asking price and no home inspection, which is both the things I did not want to do.
Very
But
bonkers. Yeah.
yeah, and we lost. I'm going to assume it was someone paid 380 to 400 for that $300,000 house. So yeah,
Whew.
it's a bit of a crunch here now. They're doing a lot of new builds too, but
Mm.
right now, if you're looking at the moment, so there is a Poland family that there's another house that we're looking at that moved here that was supposed to move to St. John, New Brunswick, instead of moving to St. John, Newfoundland, because there are two places in two provinces. So they bought a house here and they work remote, but they're supposed to be in New Brunswick, so they have to sell their house and go. So that's one that we're looking at as well. So yeah, I hate this whole house process. It's
Fingers
annoying,
crossed.
but yeah, it's a very hot time of the market now. So, but we have Superman stuff here, Joe, and I'm excited to get into all that goodness. Before we do that, let's get network plugged out of the way. So we are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 6 shows in total. On Mondays, bi-weekly is Ranger Alliance. On Tuesdays is a walk through the multiverse. On Wednesdays is the Animation Nation. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. And on Saturdays is DC Alliance. Star Wars Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and DC Alliance goes live Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. All three of those shows shows also have their own podcast feeds. Search DC Alliance, Marvel Alliance, and Star Wars Alliance if you just want DC content, Marvel content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 6 shows on the GOA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to the GOA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. $1 tier is basically a tip jar like we're doing. You want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier where you get your extras, you get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe are going through all the DC film through the years. The Losers is our most recent entry. It's up now. We have a schedule to record tomorrow for Jonah Hex, so that will get up sometime this month as well. I was thinking maybe we'll do a special Man of Steel jump the line for July, and we'll catch up backwards just for the Superman film, just for the patrons. But we'll have a discussion about that. I was just thinking out loud.
Okay.
So we're going through them all. I think there's over 30 pieces of content up there now for the patrons. We also have 2 shows on a backlog for Marvel Alliance, the Infinity Saga rewatch, and their Tales from the House of X, talking about their favorite Fox Marvel films. And we have their new thing, which is Baxter Broadcast, going over the Marvel Fantastic Four films. I'm going to say Fox, but one of them isn't. So one of them is that what looks like a made-for-TV movie. There's a really cool documentary that goes with it. You should watch both of that before you go out. That's coming this month from them, I think, on the 16th.
I think next week, yeah.
Yeah, 16th. And then they have the other 2 with Chris Evans as Human Torch and etc. And then they have the Fan 4 stick. So they'll be doing those in lead up of Fantastic Four. And then we have Joe's Multiverse Minutes, where he's doing his Disney deep dive. And the 1st and the 15th of every month, Joe's going to review a Disney film, not just review it, giving you fun behind the scenes, facts, tidbits, all that sort of thing. We thank everyone that's a patron. If you're not a patron, take a quick 30, 60 seconds rating for your podcast on your podcast app of choice. It's always greatly appreciated. It helps other people find the shows, and that's always a good thing. Okay, Joe. Let's get into this. We have a final trailer for Superman.
Yeah.
Bear with me here as I turn off the volume, turn on the closed captions, and share my screen.
Turn off the volume. Turn off the volume. Yeah. Pump up.
Yeah.
Wait.
Feel like we're in a high school gym for a like pep rally.
Yep. That was the point.
Okay, so
There you go.
watching some videos on Thrawn. That's why he was up in the corner there.
That's fair.
Okay, so we see the buildings are toppling like we saw before. People are running away. Think of the property damage, Joe. Think of the property damage.
All right. Well, thank you, 2013.
Yeah. Thank God I don't hear anybody saying that, because that was just an annoyance. This is superheroes. I love
this
this.
is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Him just holding the building. Just like, all right, just go. Come on, go.
Before we go any further, this is a wicked shot. But before we go any further, this whole first part of this trailer is a like Luthor and Superman talking throughout this trailer, and I got so much Superman the Animated Series vibes from that. Not so much the tone. Superman's Lex Luthor's voice sounded really weird to me at times in this trailer. Okay. That's the only criticism that one of the only criticisms I would lend is that his voice sounded weird in the first part of it, but there were moments that I had Superman the Animated Series vibes.
Okay.
So yeah, we get a cool shot of Superman here in the distance. And then we see Luthor showing up at the Fortress of Solitude. There's another theory I heard, because there was a theory of Ultraman being DNA enabled him to get here. People are saying now that he's trapped in a pocket universe, and Lex has him in his, like, basically in a little ball, like that's a pocket universe, and he can open this stuff now because of it.
Interesting. All right.
So yeah, we see the engineer fighting robots. We saw this in clips before, and Luthor doesn't even
flinch.
Yeah. We see Ultraman throwing in Superman here and saying he's going to kill Lois Lane as well, and his parents who raised you.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy, which I do like the maniacalist there. And yeah, we've seen this stuff before, but again, it still looks really great. The robots are there. And we see this again where he gets healed. This is stuff. This Kaiju fight is new. Like, there's just more of it. I mean,
yeah.
I will say, I don't think the CGI looks like fantastic from what I've seen so far. Like, some of this fighting stuff just reminds me of the Flash, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay.
Like the slow mo with the punch, that just reminded me of some of the stuff I saw in the Flash, which is not wrong because of the same cinematographer. For both. So, but yeah, some of this fight's fantastic from what I've seen so far, and we get a little bit of Mr. Terrific there
Yeah, a
with
little
his
bit more because I'm pretty sure
two
we've seen that
spears.
before. Yeah,
And Superman, this is where I think he's in that pocket universe, Joe. You see all the like
is that
cubes and
Metamorpho?
stuff. Yeah, no, it's Joey. And the
No, that's
Metamorpho's right
Metamorpho
there.
right there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't see Joey right there, but yeah,
I think Metamorpho, well, Luthor has Joey, and he's
yes,
using Metamorpho for Kryptonite to make Superman vulnerable to keep him where he is. So I think
yeah.
that eventually he saves Joey and they get out.
Then Metamorpho's like, "Oh,
But
you're a good guy."
this is pretty cool too. Like I don't even think Metamorpho wants to do it, but it's just Joey's life
Oh, of
hangs in the
course, yeah,
balance.
exactly, yeah.
And then we see Lois piloting.
Controlling his T-sphere, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, we saw this before. People comment
Superman,
Superman.
Superman.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When they do
I'm
that,
telling you, man.
it reminds me of the Mario commercial that I remember from back in the day. I think it might have been is either Super Mario World or Super Mario 3, where all the people are like Mario, Mario,
Yeah, I do
Mario.
remember that one. Yeah,
That's just what it reminds me of. I think I'm not sure if it's 3 is one of the two, 3 or Super Mario World.
I feel like it might be Super Mario World.
Yeah,
I also think that I still think he's snapping her neck, but I'm just saying.
and yeah, it moves in to save her here. And they say the kaiju is made from Lex Luthor.
Oh, okay.
And this is another place.
This is
I think this is the Pocket Universe right there.
okay.
I think this is going to play a bigger deal because it is in Peacemaker too. And yeah, this is again, this stuff reminded me of the Flash a little bit here. That's
Gotcha. Okay.
my two critiques of those CGI bits right there. Like everything Superman talks and all that. That's fantastic. I think that's great. It's perfect Clark Kent and Superman. It's just again some of the CGI feels like I'm watching the Flash, which I did not enjoy a lot of that CGI. Like the slow
Gotcha.
motion and it looks a little wacky, almost like PlayStation.
Mm.
But everything else is fantastic. Like Superman the animated series vibes. Like I would give this a positive more than a negative. Like it's just a couple critiques that I have that won't take me out of the film entirely. But if you stack them up multiple, like at a certain point with Flash, I was looking around the theater being like, did I get into one where it was like one of the rough cuts before they finished all the effects? That was a little legitimately my
Well,
thought at one point in the
and
Flash.
the whole Chronoverse,
Yeah,
the Chrono
it was
Ball
just
was
too
a
much of it,
whole.
Joe. It was too much
Yes,
of it.
exactly.
Yeah, so like if you like, there's only a couple spots I saw here. So if those are a couple like outrageous things he does
If
while
they're
fighting,
spread out,
and if
yeah.
they're just outrageous things he does while fighting, I can accept that being like, okay, these are your limitations for
Okay.
doing this kind of stuff. But like you just don't want it, like you said, when you get to being in the Chronoverse for so long that we were in there after doing the whole baby rescue and that, it just got to be way too much for me in terms of bad
Yeah,
CGI.
yeah.
I don't want
Okay.
to. I just know they didn't have much time either. Had much time. They switched around and switched endings and stuff
Well,
like
let's
that.
be honest. They had a whole like year with the
Yeah,
Flash. I mean, my neighbor worked on that thing for 14 months. He hated it.
yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, I don't want that here. But I'm
What's
excited
going
for this
on,
still.
Iggy?
Hi, Iggy. Did you like the Superman trailer? Because again, I was digging it, and
I
it
mean,
showcased a
and
lot.
and yeah, this is a trailer. Like, we're gonna reserve complete judgment for the movie. But yeah, no, I did dig this trailer. I dug the first trailer. I like this one. Looking forward to the movie.
Same.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna be excited.
I can't wait. And again, we got some info from Luis Fernando about some ticket sales because those are pretty good. And oh my god, this is going to be a long one. Oh my god. I didn't realize how long this was and when I shared
Well,
it. Similar to what I've seen with Fantastic Four, just 2 weeks ago, Superman also delivered one of the strongest pre-sale kick-offs I've seen following the U.S. box office. Surely the strongest for a DC film as far as comic books are concerned, including Prime's previews, pre-sales, which started a day earlier. First 24 hours were 1.3 times ahead of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 1.1 times ahead of Fantastic Four's First Steps, and slightly under Thor's Love and Thunder. And that's the one you got to watch out for too, because this needs a good like cinema score type thing, like good reviews to avoid like having the legs cut off, like Thor's Love and Thunder. That's just just a
yeah,
couple good weeks and then not doing it much after that. You need to have good reviews to like get some stuff in August too.
yeah. You also need good word of mouth because Thor: Love and Thunder definitely did not have good word of mouth after that first
No, not at
weekend.
all. You need that. That's huge. But the best comes now, even taking out the prime screenings, pretending that none of those people would have bought tickets for the opening weekend anyway if the prime screenings didn't exist. Superman would still come in slightly ahead of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on par with the Batman and 1.5 times ahead of Captain America Brave New World's Kick-Ass. Remember, despite its disastrous run, Cat 4 managed to open with a respectable 88 million. Another interesting tidbit is that Superman is noticeably stronger than Fantastic Four first steps for Friday, Saturday pre-sales, what could indicate that Superman could be less front-loaded comic book than usual. And judging by performing IMAX screening, it seems likely to be perceived as a PLF event, meaning people will like to see it later and longer, as long as they get a good seat, instead of typical behavior, which is people rush to see it early as they can, regardless of seats or screen type.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah,
Hmm.
Fantastic Four's kickoffs pre-sales were 50 days earlier than Superman, while Superman did it in 30 days. It took them 50 days to do what Superman did in 30 days. That also played a factor here. Okay. Yeah, so nothing else here really from him about that, just some stuff about the Fandango stuff. And we have another thing here where it broke records, Joe, which you were part of, I guess. Superman
Yay.
becomes Fandango's best first day ticket pre-seller of 2025.
Woohoo! I made
So,
history.
yeah, pretty cool. Great news here. And the other little thing here was on the first day of Superman, like the regular ticket sales, outsold Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Captain America 4 by 1.5 times and on screen with the Batman. So,
Yeah, I'm looking up my regular Thursday preview showings, and there's not a lot sold
mhm.
at my theaters right now. Not to say there won't be like sooner, like when the get closer to it, but not a lot at the moment.
We also know, Joe, that like if we're being honest, we're the type of people that are going to go see it Thursdays.
Yes.
It really tells about the weekend. Like, can you bring in the people? And that, again, that's one thing I do think Superman is able to do. Is just for how long? Because it will have a great opening weekend. It's just I don't know if it's going to have the legs to get to the Batman numbers. I do think it's going to have a shot with a great opening weekend to catch Man of Steel, and that's all I would deem for be a success. Is just past Man of Steel. Uh,
I hope so.
for me. Financially, it's a success for me is if I enjoy the film, obviously. But the DCU is part of this, and when we talk about after the break of what Warner Brothers is like right now, you definitely want DCU to like get going because there's not exactly Scrooge McDuck pool that WB has lying around for funding some of these films at this moment. So yeah, this is great news. I hope that this does really well, Joe. And I guess that's about it. Now there are some projections, and I saw them on Twitter the last from box office preview, and it was 140 million. Uh, so again, I don't know if we'll get to that point for the opening weekend. I hope so. Uh,
Would be nice.
it would really be nice.
I feel like if
So,
it gets 140 million opening weekend, that it could be on the way to, what, 700.
I
Easily.
hope if it gets to 700, that will be nice because of how normally would have filmed this big. I would want it to get more, but we're sandwiched with the other films.
Jurassic World and Fantastic Four, yeah.
And again, domestically, it should do great, but shouldn't do as great. But don't rule out Jurassic World around the world, too.
Yeah.
So
People like dinosaurs.
box office tracking for Superman is 140 million to 185 million for domestic for the opening weekend. So that doesn't take into account international, but
Okay.
yeah, so pretty good. We hope that like it's successful, but we also hope that it's a really enjoyable film. Okay, Joe, let's take our first ad break of the evening before we jump into the news. Listeners, we're on Ad Support Network. We don't pick the ads or volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, let's get into this now. We got something that I was going to talk about a little bit more because little peek behind the curtains, listeners. I thought Joe wasn't going to be here this week. I kind of mistaken what he told me via message, so I
I
shouldn't have
mean, look,
mistaken it.
it's
No, it was. I
it,
went back through. I went back through. It was pretty self-explanatory. So, hand up on me. Uh, I thought he wasn't going to be here this week, so I planned to talk about this a little bit more in my nerdy accounting side.
you
But
still can. I'm not gonna stop you.
well, I'm not. We're not going to go as in depth because I don't think I would have. I've been able to talk about the stuff in the opening segment as long without somebody to talk about it with. So.
That's fair.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, Warner Brothers is to split into two companies, which I'm going to tell you now is not great, and you'll see why in a little bit when I read out one a really funny tweet. This is a little article from Friday. Warner Brothers Discovery grappling with declines in its overall business said Monday it planned to divide the company into two publicly traded entities, one devoted to streaming and content production, and one devoted to traditional television. Uh, so the one with the traditional television is not going to be run by Zaslav. It's going to be run by Gunnar Weidenfelds, uh, who is the company's CFO, known for finding really good ways to cut all costs. He's going to lead a TV company, and that's going to be one that's saddled with most of the, more than half of the $38 billion in debt that the company has. Uh, Actually, it's more than 38 billion. That's 38 billion is going to the TV entity. The rest, I think, is 20 something will be going to the new entity that Zaslav is going to be running. So he doesn't go anywhere, even though there was a vote of non-confidence from the shareholders that didn't want to pay him the money that he has. But that doesn't stop anything. So they need to do something. This is it here now. So they say, Zaslav says, by operating as two distinct and optimized companies in the future, we are empowering these iconic brands with sharper focus and strategic flexibility they need to compete most effectively in today's evolving media landscape. So yeah, that's not great. And the traditional TV landscape has changed completely. So to have a company that's focused on that side is not the greatest, especially with them losing like the NBA that they had. So they don't even have the live sports they once had. So uh, yeah, not great. Uh, During investor call on Monday, it was like the two companies might continue to be aligned, and sales may represent both sides. The split executives said TV is HBO Max foreseeable future. U.S. sports rights will reside with global networks. So yeah, there's two companies, Joe, which is not a great thing.
I
And I can
mean, yeah, that's never.
not when you're
It's never
one,
great.
and I can tell you just a little story now. In 2022, uh, Warner Brothers uh, hired a consulting firm, McKinsey. They paid them 55 million to advise on what to do with Discovery. So they advised them to combine with Discovery. And then from 2022 to 2025, McKinsey charged WBD 37 million by advising the company to change from HBO to HBO Max, then to Max, then back to HBO Max. And then in 2025, McKinsey billed Warner Brothers Discovery additional 63 million to determine that Warner Brothers and Discovery should be separate brands again. So
Sounds like a waste of money to me.
55 plus 37 plus 63 is a lot of money, you know. Not gonna lie, it's 155 million.
Oh, only?
Yeah, so that's what they spent to be just go back and forth on this. Uh, that's just proves through ineptitude. So they don't have a lot of money, and I watched a couple podcasts about this from some financial people, and they're saying that this sets up for Warner Brothers Discovery to be sold at some point in the future because you can pick off the assets and you got rid of the debt. A lot of the debt that was saddling it's moved on to one of the two companies now. So yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem like a smart move, especially when you were separate from the beginning. But it does say here DC Studios is still its own thing, but it's going to be run by Zaslav. Like, not like obviously James Gunn and Peter Safran run it, but the top of the top is still Zaslav with that company. That's all.
Yeah, well,
So, yeah, just again, ineptitude for WB. Their stock prices plummeted in the toilet. And again, I don't like saying this, but it is only a matter of time before they're sold. I just don't know when. Hopefully not soon. We got some positive news now, Joe. Uh, there's going to be a new animated series.
yeah.
Um, Warner Brothers.
Honestly, had no idea this was a thing.
I remember him announcing it, and we mentioned it in one of the Comic Cons. I don't know if it was like CCXP. It was one of the things. It was just like a 5 or 6. I know Jessica Cruz was another one that had a show. There was a couple.
Oh, that's
This
right. That
this
was part
only
of that
had
group. Okay,
this only had a
that's
line too.
right.
This only had a line. It didn't have anything else. It just had one line. Is
Now
what
I
I was thinking.
remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Warner Brothers and DC Studios making Mr. Miracle animated series with showrunner Tom King. And the guy who made Spider-Man the animated series threw a little bit of shade, saying like, "Oh yeah, they're going to bring in another person from movies to do animation or comics to do animation, think that they know it exactly when you should know. There's different things with that." I was like, "Oh my god,
Wow.
yeah." So I'm proud to advertise. So Warner Brothers Animation DC Studios are taking the next steps on their animated journey with the TV version of Mr. Miracle comic book series. Now there was a picture that came with it, and I will say it gives me the vibes of. My Adventure with Superman, but it has DC Studios logo up there, so it could be DCU. We're not sure yet. It doesn't say anything about that here.
I
It
mean,
says,
it's very possible, but I mean, who knows? Like I was talking with Iggy while you were talking about the Warner Bros. Stuff. Like anything is possible,
yeah,
but it doesn't have to be right now. But it doesn't mean it can't be in the future. You know?
yeah, you don't
Because
have
I
to.
mean, because My Adventures with Superman is not part of the DCU.
But, however, well, no, it can't be because of Jimmy and Perry.
Sure,
But
but doesn't mean that all of that doesn't mean Mr. Miracle can't be a part of My Adventure with Superman. Like Jessica Cruz is going
he
to be a part
can't
of that,
be. He can't
and
be
then
part of both.
but all of that. Well, Mr. Miracle definitely could be part of all of it because of Darkseid and New Gods being part of one
Yeah, but
thing.
you can only set it in if you're in My Adventure with Superman world or DCU, or it's its own thing entirely.
But that's the beauty of the New Gods. New Gods are separate.
I know,
New Gods
I know.
are outside of everything. They are constant. They are just their own thing. So, in theory, this could be part of it, but also outside of it.
I understand in the comic sense. In
I
the
don't
comic
think it's
world
going to be
sense.
part of
Yeah,
it, though.
yeah,
I
yeah.
honestly don't think it's going to be a part of it.
I
I think
think it
it's
has
going
to
to be
pick or
separate.
choose. I think it has to pick or choose one or the other. Like as
But
long as
what I'm saying is that it will probably be separate,
yeah.
and then say if it's going great in like 3, 4, 5 years, James Gunn can be like, why don't we kind of hold on to this, and we can maybe put it in over here.
As long as you don't cross over with Superman, if you're not planning, you know what I mean? As long as you're not planning on crossing over with Superman, because
Like,
then they'll be like that Superman, and you know what I mean?
well,
Like,
as long as that's not part of My Adventures, sure.
yeah, that's all I'm
But
saying.
that's what I'm saying. Like, they can have Mr. Miracle be its own show,
Yeah,
separate by
yeah,
itself,
yeah,
and
then
then as long
bring
as
him in. Yeah,
and then
yeah,
put them into the DCU. Yes,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. I get what you're saying. And if it's positive, you'd be
If
like,
it,
yeah,
yeah,
just like the
if
Harley Quinn stuff. Like it was like, oh yeah, that's good. And they even debated bringing the person who Kaylee Kuko over to be the new Harley Quinn.
yeah,
Yeah, in the
she
DCU.
might be she would be a terrible Harley
I
Quinn
don't
live
think she would
action.
be terrible either. But yeah, this was good news. Is not there's still a little bit here. Is there a breakdown of the show? Yeah, I got it right here. Hold on.
Okay.
There's a little tagline. Well, not tagline. It's pretty long. Description of the show here. The adult animated series is based on DC's critically acclaimed Eisner-winning 12-issue comic book series from Tom King and Mitch Gerads. And then it says, based on the characters from DC, Mr. Miracle represents the second adult animation series from Warner Brothers. So I think that is going to be at DC Studios because it says following Warner Brothers Animation and DC Studios following the season 1 success of Creature Commandos. Season 2 of Creature Commandos is currently in production for HBO Max. Other recent greenlights include DC Studios and Warner Brothers Animation include Starfire and My Adventures with Green Lantern and DC Superpowers. So the description here, Joe, is no prison can hold him, no trap can contain him. He is scot-free, the worldwide celebrity sensation known as Mr. Miracle, and he is the greatest escape artist who ever lived. But can he pull off the ultimate trick and escape death itself? Something has gone horribly wrong with the perfect life that Scott and his warrior wife, Big Barda, have built for themselves on Earth. With war raging between their homeworlds of Apocalypse and New Genesis, Scott's cruel adoptive father, Darkseid, seems to have finally captured the anti-life equation, the ultimate weapon that will give Darkseid total dominance over the universe. As the mountains of bodies on both sides grow ever higher, only Mr. Miracle can stop the slaughter and restore peace, but the terrible power of the anti-life equation may already be at work in his own mind, wrapping his reality and exposing his long-buried pain and shattering the fragile happiness he's found with the woman he loves. And so begins the odyssey of Scott Free, Mr. Miracle, a harrowing, hilarious, heart-wrenching journey across the pitfalls of an ordinary and extraordinary of the ordinary and the extraordinary as the son of a god raised by the devil tries to save his family, his world, and maybe even himself. Holy crap, that was a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm excited. It is set in the DCU. That confirms it for me, reading that one sentence. And yeah, it gets me excited. We're going to get to see Darkseid, DCU Darkseid.
Yeah, no, sounds like it.
Pretty cool. So, what's up next? We have.
Okay. Okay.
What?
No, nothing.
We got to meet the Justice Gang. Superman stars introduce their dynamic super trio. Who are the Justice Gang? The film establishes a world where humanity has known about the existence of meta-humans for 300 years. As Gunn puts it, if you saw a shark man walking down the street, you'd probably vomit and shoot yourself to death. If they saw one, it would be like if you saw a Paul McCartney on the sidewalk of New York. The Justice Gang are some meta-humans, but you could say they've gone corporate. The group is backed by Maxwell Lord, the tech billionaire behind Lord Tech Industries. It answers the question, how do superheroes make their money? Corporate sponsorship seems pretty in line with what I would imagine. There's no real paycheck for being a superhero, but you got to pay the rent, right? That's what was from Nathan Fillion.
Gotta pay the rent.
I like that. It's a day job for her in a way. Mercedes says of Hot Girl. And is there anything there for T? No, there's not. So there's a little breakdown of Guy Gardner. Talking about the haircut a lot, which again is, and then they talk about him showing up on HBO Lantern series. So yeah, there isn't much here. Just what is very true about Guy Gardner and what James understands very well is you don't have to be good and pure of heart to be a Green Lantern. You just to be fearless. You have to have the will. And Guy Gardner thinks he can take on Superman. That's how fearless he is.
Sorry, I heard something about Isabella Merced.
So Hot Girl is next, and basically just there isn't a lot here actually. I was basically a glorified stunt person. The actress said she spent a lot of time training for the role. Yeah, it's just stuff better. There's nothing here telling me anything about like what their mentality is or anything like that, which I was hoping was the case. One funny thing here. The actor who plays Mr. Terrific talked about his time as Darwin in X-Men First Class, and he was like,
his 5 minutes that he was in the movie.
He was like, I was waiting to be brought back because, as you know, the character doesn't die. He said the fact that he died in the first one isn't that big of a deal if he does what he does in the comics, which is come back. So every movie that came out and the character didn't come back, it solidified that it was a misrepresentation and a missed opportunity.
I mean, he's not wrong.
This is a really good quote too, Joe. Mr. Terrific is a different ballgame entirely. Superman isn't the only project that I'll be in.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think he's going to show up in Peacemaker because he wasn't one of the people making fun.
I mean, I would love to see all of them show up in Peacemaker, like
Same.
him and Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, but
we will see Guy Gardner and Hot Girl, but I don't know if we'll see him actually fight.
Oh yeah, Guy Gardner. Sorry, Metamorpho is what I meant. Sorry.
What if Ultraman is
Hell? Oh, I don't know if it'd be Hell.
I think they might save that. I don't know if they would do that the first movie with all the heroes and stuff they got going on.
Yeah, I mean, L is a little too new. I don't think that's. I
My
mean,
money is on
you know what?
Clone or Justice Syndicate Superman. But I don't think Justice Syndicate Superman would dress up like that. So especially with all the creatures that Lex has, including he made the Kaiju, I definitely think he cloned Superman. Especially since
Well,
he's been
yeah, I
around for
mean,
3 years.
clone or another universe, like
Yeah.
or even pocket universe. I like what you said before because that would indicate him being able to open up uh the fortress, be able
Yeah.
to get into the fortress.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Either way,
So there was a cool behind the
oh,
set
the L man, to
picture,
have L in the comics, you almost feel like you would need both Supergirl and Superboy, though.
which is something you could probably build to.
Sure, I mean because you have Supergirl, but that you still need Superboy. I think. I don't know. I haven't read the L storyline in forever.
It's been a while. What was that?
Been a while.
That came out like early 2010s, like 20s. I feel like I read that in like 2013 or 2014.
Well, it was 2011 was
Okay.
the was New 52. This was actually I don't know when it came out.
I feel like it
Let's
was
see, annual number 113. So it would have been 2014
okay.
because 20 it's
I got
issues
that one over
13
here
through
somewhere.
17. Um, so let's
I,
see if this came out in 2011. So it's
let me
like
see.
20,
Let me see the cover, Joe.
2013, 2014.
Okay, yeah, I have that there somewhere.
Yeah,
Uh, and yeah, we have a cool
this is great.
we have a cool behind the set scene here of all kinds of comic creators visiting Superman set and seeing David Cornsmith as Superman. I thought that was pretty cool, and it goes with uh, when the comic creators visit set, every one of them does a little drawing afterwards. Like you can see it on the second picture if you scroll down. You got some Guy Gardner, some Superman's Crypto, and they all sign. Jim Lee did Superman here. Sorry, Lex Luthor here. It's pretty cool. Uh, the Kaiju, someone did the Kaiju. Jim Lee did Metamorpho there as well.
Who did?
So,
Sorry, I'm just seeing a fat Guy Gardner in there.
yeah, what do we got left for news here, Joe? Just a little bit. Let's take our final ad break of the evening. Let's refer an ad support network. We don't pick the ads or volume. I'm going to do a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. I love this little thing that we watched here. I watched it before of the trunk dilemma. Like, why? Like, Gunn basically said,
Oh, I didn't watch this.
"Oh,
Sorry.
well, I'll give you a good." So Gunn basically said he tried all kinds of different versions and he just couldn't get it. He went to Zack Snyder and asked him about it, and Snyder said the
For
same thing.
shame.
He said I tried like a billion different ones. I wanted them, but I couldn't get the look right. And he wasn't going to do them either. He did another one, another fitting, and he didn't like it really that much. And Cornswit told him he liked it, and he told him why, which is that Superman just tries to be a bit goofy because he's just super overpowered metahuman. And that made sense to me. I basically did the same. I was like, oh yeah, that would make sense. So yeah, I really enjoyed the explanation of why. I'm not still a big fan of Trunks, but I'm okay with it. God even said I tried to come up with an in-story reason why he would have to wear the trunks.
Well, like,
but I couldn't.
so, and like the thing is, obviously, in the 30s when the character was created, Trunks, no big deal. You know,
Yeah.
they rebooted it in New 52 in 2011. You know, no Trunks. It and the suit looked fine. Whatever. They brought it back. They brought him back in 2015, 2016, whatever, whenever Rebirth came back. They brought the Trunks back because that was classic Superman. That was classic Clark. It is his iconic look. Like I'm not saying you need to have his trunks. Either way works.
Yes,
You know,
it's fine. And if something like that makes you be like this movie's terrible, then you're not giving the movie a chance anyway.
you're
Yeah.
literally failing it before you even care.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
Like
let's be
you
honest.
can
If
be
that's
not
the
happy with like the CGI look and something, and the more of it builds up, but like just a creative choice of you got to respect the creative choice, and that wouldn't ruin the story. Someone wearing trunks. So
Yeah.
again, I'm excited for this, Joe. I can't wait for this film.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be great.
And here's news for Joe: if you have a Fandango ticket, there is a collector's bundle that comes from Fandango for
What?
$59. You get a limited edition concept art of the fortress picture. Then you get
Ooh.
exclusive Superman comic book. You get a Superman hat, and you get one Superman ticket for any other time.
How do I do this? How do I get this?
There doesn't say anything else, just from Fandango. It's the collector's bundle. Fan offer. So it'd be in fan offers. Pretty cool. Again, pretty nice. So we won't be doing Smallville retro recaps this week. We'll wait next week and talk about the last couple episodes of season 6. Instead, we had a listener question from one Chris Belga. Question for you and Joe for DC Alliance this week. What are your top 5 Superman moments in live action? So I'll go first.
I don't have any honorable mentions. If you want to pop those off,
I'll save them just in case if any of them aren't mentioned in the top 5.
oh, fine, whatever.
So
I'll tell you right now, they're not. Actually,
okay.
all of mine are different than yours.
Oh, perfect. So
So-
my number 5 was Superman versus Zod and the other 2 Kryptonians in the battle in Metropolis, aka New York City. I just love this. It blew my mind when I watched it way back when. It just looked so cool, and Superman fighting people that had the same abilities as him. I just really enjoyed it. And the whole general, can you step out here for a moment? So yeah, that was and getting thrown through the Coke sign. I thought that was cool. I think it was the Coke sign, from what I remember.
Yes, I believe it was.
What's your number 5, Joe?
I guess I don't really have. Well, I guess okay. I guess I do kind of have these numbered. Probably it would be. I think it is season 3 of Smallville.
Yeah.
I don't really remember exactly which one. It's when he is possessed by the red. I think it's the red kryptonite, and it's his first flight. It's Clark's
when he rips
first.
open the door and
Yeah, so like it's him like flying, like he pushes Martha away. You see it in the opening credits.
Yeah,
but like he pushes Martha away. And just like just seeing him, because
that was really well done. Think about that now.
Yeah, at that point, because you know from the show, like he hates flying, he hates heights, he's never flown before, and for the character, it's not him technically, but like, hey, I'm gonna fly, I gotta do this, I'm being called, and he goes. It was just amazing to see it happen, and I remember watching it live when it happened, and I'm like, this is great. It's a wonderful scene. Yeah, so there you go. That's my number 5.
Pretty cool, Joe. I agree with you. That time for big TV shows, and I never did any. So number 4 for me is the plane save in Superman Returns. I just thought that was cool, like how that looked fantastic, and how he saved them and came out in Lois Lane meeting him for the first time. It was
the second time.
It was the best. It was the best. Probably the best thing in that film.
What do you mean? The bullet to the eye wasn't the great thing?
That was cool too, but that was probably the only other cool thing.
My next one is from Justice League. Technically, both of them. It's the Justice League versus Superman, and mainly it's when they're attacking him, and Flash goes running around him, and it's in the super speed, and Clark just does the look at him.
I thought about putting that in, but I didn't. Yeah,
it's just I love that scene. It's just great.
That's a good choice, Joe. That's a good choice, and it's not in my honorable mentions either. My number 3 is the Smallville battle in Man of Steel, because I was blown away that you could look Superman fighting could look like that in live action. So yeah, I thought it was like the whole thing right up to where they have to get taken away. Again, I just thought it was great, and he's not our enemy and takes off just perfect.
Yeah.
You, Joe?
So this one is from BVS.
Mm.
And it's not really it's not really like it's really just a scene. And it is the Trinity. Literally just the three of them standing there. Doesn't have to be anything. Them
No
not fighting.
explanation needed.
Literally just all three of them. And I've said this like ever since I saw the trailer. Seeing all three of them in live action on screen has always been my favorite moment.
It was awesome.
One of my favorite moments. I've got a couple more that's popped up since then. But
my number 2 is Superman saving Lois Lane in Superman 78 with the helicopter.
You've got me.
Who's
got you?
Just again, really well done.
Love it. I guess my number 2 would be Kingdom Come Superman in the Arrowverse.
Ooh.
Just seeing Brandon Routh, one, getting the recognition that he deserved, be able to redo the role after being spurned after everything, but just him being able to get his due and
that's a good one, Joe.
He does a great portrayal of it too.
It's a lot more similar to Cornswet than anybody else, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, even right down to the costume. My number 1 is first fight in Man of Steel. Just
that's
good. I'm saying anything. Hans Zimmer score. Just again, it's just perfect.
That was a great one. My final one is the identity reveal. Superman reveal in Superman Lois when he is, it's just Lois looking at him like when she knows that has to happen.
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay.
And then you just blink and he's wearing his full suit.
I like amazing. I love that scene.
That's an amazing scene, Joe. And a couple of my honorable mentions: Superman versus Doomsday, that looked fantastic and was great. Superman versus Batman and BVS, their fight, that was really good. Superman versus Zod and Man of Steel, that was just
a good one. Yeah,
anime crazy. You can do this in live action. And Superman versus Steppenwolf. I don't know if I said that one.
No, you did not. Yeah,
when he destroyed the Zax and all that was awesome.
Yep. Very cool.
So, Joe, that wraps up our evening. There's nothing else here on the docket. We'll be back. We won't be back next week. We'll be off next week.
I'm on vacation.
Joe's on vacation, and unless something super crazy comes up, if something super crazy comes up, I'll do something solo. But if not, we'll be back the following week to catch up on DC goodness and get ready for Superman.
Yeah.
Until then,
it'll probably be a pre-recorded, but we'll have something out there for you guys.
We'll have something out. Maybe we'll put something video-wise when we pre-record, but we'll put the video up for the time that DC Alliance is supposed to drop.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll be back the following week with more DC goodness. Until then, see you, everyone.
Bye, y'all.